Caitlin Clark's return to the hardwood was nothing short of magical, and anyone who watched the Indiana Fever's explosive matchup against the New York Liberty knows exactly what kind of impact she had. This wasn't just a game. It was a statement, a moment where a young rookie who's been doubted, targeted, and relentlessly pressured responded with nothing but pure brilliance. She wasn't just playing, she was orchestrating, elevating, and dominating. And in front of a raucous crowd, under the bright lights, Caitlin Clark put on an absolute show to lead her team to one of the biggest wins of their season. From the moment she stepped onto the court, there was a different energy. The fans could feel it, her teammates could feel it, and you better believe the Liberty felt it too. After missing time due to injury and absorbing wave after wave of media narratives, cheap shots, and controversies that had nothing to do with her performance, Caitlin walked back into that game like she never left and reminded everyone exactly why she's the face of the new WNBA era. The Liberty came in confident, maybe even a little too confident. They had the better record, the experience, and the league's reigning MVP in Breanna Stewart. Sabrina Ionescu was in rhythm, the defense had been clicking, and the Fever were seen by many as heavy underdogs. But Clark changed all of that. From the opening tip, she made her presence felt. Her control of the pace, her vision, and most importantly, her shooting turned the game into her personal stage. The first quarter began with the Fever looking sharp. They were pushing the tempo, spacing the floor, and it was clear that Clark's leadership was back in full force. Within the first few possessions, she knocked down a deep three. The kind of shot that makes the crowd explode and the defenders shake their heads. It wasn't just the points, it was the confidence, the message she sent. She wasn't just back, she was ready to take over. What made this performance even more special was how Caitlin managed to elevate her teammates. Aaliyah Boston, who had been fighting hard all season, found herself with cleaner looks and easier finishes, all thanks to Clark's pinpoint passes and court awareness. Kelsey Mitchell thrived off the spacing Caitlin created, drilling shots and attacking the rim with purpose. The entire Fever squad looked revitalized, and it was clear they were feeding off Caitlin's energy. Throughout the game, Caitlin showcased the full arsenal. Her signature step-back three was on display, leaving defenders frozen and fans in awe. Her transition play was electric, whether it was no-look passes or pulling up from deep in stride. She controlled every fast break like a maestro. And let's not forget her handles. There were several possessions where she danced with the ball, slicing through the Liberty defense and creating opportunities out of nothing. But it wasn't just offense. One of the more underrated aspects of Clark's performance was her defense. She was locked in, rotating well, communicating, and even picking up a couple of key steals that led to easy buckets. It's easy to focus on her highlight reel offense, but this game showed she's evolving into a complete player, one who can influence the game on both ends of the court. Of course, the Liberty didn't go down without a fight. Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart had their moments. Stewart, with her length and inside presence, put pressure on Indiana's defense. And Ionescu had a stretch where she knocked down back-to-back triples to cut into the lead. But every time New York threatened to pull ahead or build momentum, Clark responded. In the third quarter, with the Liberty on a 9-2-0 run and the crowd getting tense, Caitlin Clark took the ball, calmly called for a screen, and drilled a logo three that silenced the building and reignited her squad. It wasn't just a shot, it was a dagger to the Liberty's confidence. Moments later, she found Nolissa Smith cutting to the rim for a perfectly timed assist. And just like that, the Fever were back in control. The fourth quarter was all about composure. The Liberty tried to ramp up their defense, trapping Clark at half court and throwing multiple defenders her way. But her poise under pressure was elite. She didn't force it. She trusted her teammates, made the right reads, and when it was time to close, she did it in style. With just under 2 minutes left and the Fever up by 5, Caitlin ran an isolation set, crossed over her defender, and pulled up for a mid-range jumper. Nothing but net. Game. Set. Match. By the final buzzer, Caitlin had stuffed the stat sheet: assists, rebounds, steals, and, most importantly, the win. But the numbers don't fully capture what she meant to this game. This was about presence, about control, about inspiration. She played with fire, precision, and a maturity beyond her years post-game. The buzz was deafening. Social media erupted. Former players, analysts, and even some of her critics had to give her props. ESPN and WNBA TV couldn't stop replaying her highlights. Every outlet had the same headline: Caitlin Clark is back, and she's not here to play around. Even Liberty stars had to acknowledge what they'd witnessed. Breanna Stewart, while clearly disappointed in the loss, gave Clark her flowers during the post-game interview, saying, "She's got the kind of talent that forces you to adjust. We gave her looks, and she made us pay. That's what great players do." Sabrina Ionescu, who shares a lot of similarities with Caitlin in terms of style and media attention, added, "She played a complete game, controlled the tempo, made big plays. That's what you want to see in this league." And Fever head coach Christy Sides was nearly glowing with pride. "We knew what we were missing with her off the floor," she said, "but seeing her come back and take command like that, that's leadership. That's heart. That's Caitlin Clark." But perhaps the most telling reaction came from the fans. From start to finish, the energy in the arena was electric, but it reached another level every time Caitlin touched the ball. There were signs, shirts, chants. It wasn't just a basketball game. It was a celebration. And when the final whistle blew, thousands of fans were on their feet, chanting her name. That kind of connection doesn't come easy. That's star power. That's impact. It's important to remember just how much pressure Caitlin has faced in her young WNBA career. From the expectations placed on her after a record-breaking college run, to the physical play and often targeted fouls in the pros, to the controversies and political noise that has nothing to do with basketball, she's been through a storm. But nights like this show what she's made of. She doesn't run from adversity, she turns it into fuel. And make no mistake, this win matters. The Fever needed this. They'd been fighting to find consistency, battling injuries, and struggling to break into that upper echelon of teams. Beating a top-tier squad like the Liberty, and doing it with Caitlin leading the way, sends a powerful message to the rest of the league. Indiana isn't here to be pushed around anymore. They're building something, and Clark is the engine driving it forward. Looking ahead, it's clear the momentum is shifting. The Fever have found their rhythm, and as long as Caitlin stays healthy and confident, this team is going to be dangerous. Her return didn't just impact one game, it changed the entire tone of the season. Opponents will have to start game planning differently. Coaches will lose sleep figuring out how to contain her, and fans, they'll keep showing up in droves to witness history in real time. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's reshaping the WNBA with every dazzling assist, every deep three, every fearless drive. She's making a statement that this is just the beginning. And if this game was any indication, the rest of the league better be ready, because when Caitlin Clark is locked in, there's no stopping her. There's no stopping her.